When I think of race and ethnicity, I think about the ways people categorize the identity they have or were born into. I believe that race can be defined as a group of people sharing common ancestry characteristics that explain why some people have similar characteristics, such as physical features or personality traits. When I think about ethnicity, I think about a group of people that have the same religious beliefs or morals compass. So, in a sense of how they navigate throughout life, such as marriage or sexual practices. Conhan states that race is defined as a group of people with very common descendants, while ethnicity is defined as a group that categorize themselves based on religion, language, and traditional practices and ancestral origins. Racial ethnicity is also a way that people categorize themselves into ethnic groups by sharing common physical features, according to Conhan. Conhan also stated that a person's ethnicity could change over time, which is why he believes that the racial based identity is best for describing what truly defines a person's personality and character. I would define my race as black. My parents are two African Americans, and my great great grandmother is a Native American race, which makes me an African American Indian. In today's time, many questionnaires do not have mixed race as an option, and my ancestors were Black and Native American, so my option is really not available. So I usually just choose African American as my base. I enjoy being this ethnicity, African American, and really just because I was taught, I behaved, and I should support all African American culture. And I enjoy being a part of it. My ethnicity has never changed over time either. In America, the goal or the American dream, I believe, is to gain more independence and freedom. Therefore, I understand why majority people were focusing on understanding the growth within the races and the ethnicity backgrounds. Because I am part of a minority group, I can understand why the growth of the specific races and ethnicity groups is mattered in the development of the American family structures and experience within America. According to Kahan, American Indians, African Americans, and Latinos and Asian Americans experience diversity, social changes, inequality changes throughout aspects such as marriage and childbearing. Kahan believed that American Indian population increases due to the merge into the white and the Latinos communities, which marriage and reproduction was occurring. American Indians having a marriage that is based more on an ethnic background explains why the group had lesser rates of postmodern family structures and divorce rates. Referring to African Americans, Cohen states that people did believe that African Americans built their family structures based off traditions from Africa, but this was not true. Most African Americans based their family structures off of like slavery, poverty, and discriminations that has shaped their African American culture experiences. After slavery ended, it was still hard for African Americans to earn equal pay to provide and keep up with certain changes that were happening in America. So they weren't that free to do uh, as much as other races were, and they couldn't keep up with the changes and the freedom. When it comes to Latinos, they were the most likely to go into live in extended families due to the high rates of immigrants coming into the United States, only receiving low paying jobs. They were receiving little to no jobs just due to the language barrier. Latinos were more likely to mix races, but living in these extended families structures allies was more of a survival structure for the Latinos, stated by Cohen. Cohen also stated that Asian Americans would rather live in multi generational households, and since coming to the United States, higher education is the main goal and focus for them when in America. And they're basically basing their family off of that as well. By starting a family and ensuring that assets are present and worth money. This will allow the family to continue to build and could eventually make revenue if needed. It will it will make many benefits, ensuring that assets can gain wealth. Um, Assets that can be had are investments, properties, expensive items such as jewelry. I would be able, if I had all this, I would be able to provide my daughter with a higher education opportunities, financial security, and savings by having assets that are worth money or worth wealth. Both acculturation and assimilation, I believe, are ways that immigrants became more into the American lifestyle and culture. When I think of acculturation, I view it as immigration being more accepting and learning of the American ways by experience, where I've used assimilation as immigrants not being automatically accepting of the American ways, um, but slowly beginning to accept these ways just due to survival purposes, because they have to know people feel more comfortable navigating through America, being from a foreign country, knowing English, because English is our base language. By immigrants learning how to speak proper English and approach certain situations, I believe immigrants that were accepting of the alter culture understanding that learned these basics were necessary, and they should accept what Americans come with because it was going to make them more successful in the long run. Eventually, people knowing English will make them more successful, be able to earn more jobs, higher paying jobs as well. Conahan stated that the definition of culture is referring to being accepting of new culture, while assimilation refers to slowly becoming accepting of new culture and letting the older culture ways go. When referring to the differences between the culture and the assimilation, Conahan states that culture is accepting to one side, becoming accepting to new cultures. So basically, one religion is becoming accepting to the American ways, such as Latinos coming to America, this not being their hometown, them coming in and just adapting and wanting to adapt could be referred to as acculturation, whereas assimilation requires for the new culture to accept the immigrants wanting to be a part of this new culture and adapt these new culture and traditions and everything. Cohen discusses factors such as time arrival, social roles in society playing huge roles in deciding if the immigrants will be accepted when trying to be a part of a new culture in America. I believe that being able to be accepted and fit into new groups through America plays a huge role in how we experience many situations. When trying to fit in, it takes a person a lot, especially if peer pressure is occurring. For new immigrants not understanding English, I see this daily impacting people throughout my job. Being an African American, I do not feel it is hard to fit in with other African Americans due to the shared cultural experiences that we share, compared to immigrants not understanding why certain things occur differently through all races. I define intermarriage as a marriage of two people of different races. Intermarriage was surprising and expressed that expression that changed the way American marriage was viewed. I define social distance in the textbook as the amount of acceptance one race has for the other race, such as blacks and whites. As blacks and whites began to merge, it may have been hard for many blacks and whites to separate feelings from relations, with them being in attendance at the same schools and jobs. So it was hard for blacks and whites to stay separate and stop their feelings for getting attached to one another. I believe due to them being working in the same job fields, going to the same schools, going to the same bars. So just many interactions maybe was causing people to want to have marriage. According to Conhan, researchers to find researchers said to find out if one race is accepting of the other by asking people if an intermarriage could express many feelings one race has towards the other. Also, Conhan discusses how intermarriages are accepting and encouraged at times now in society, which has to deal with many people of the newer generation having a bigger voice over what's right in society over older generations' ideas. Social distancing is done highly by whites. That's why many people of the white race do not marry outside of their race. Intermarriages can have challenges, but I do see the good and bad happening today within interracial marriages. The good of the intermarriage could be the respect for the other's culture that allows values and understanding and other perspectives to be understood. I was not in a marriage, but I was in an interracial relation, and this shown how my culture enrichment did occur. Cultural enrichment did occur within a relationship in a sense of this person being a white person and I'm being a black person. Us just learning each other's different cultural aspects and traditions was really nice. By two people being of different races, the moral values may not be correlated, which could be negatively impacting the communication within the marriage as well. That could be a negative aspect of an intermarriage. But overall, it could be good and bad, and lessons can be learned while being in an intermarriage.